Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This video is dedicated to a subscriber who was inspired by this painting to ask, how do you pick your colors for your paintings? Today I'm describing my favorite way to pick a palette, which includes acrylic gouache paints and fabric. However, you can apply my suggestions to virtually any art medium. We'll head to the art supply and fabric store and I'll step out a painting for you using a limited palette. Using a few colors and black and white almost always guarantees a cohesive painting. But first, I'm going to touch on the 5 tried and true methods for picking colors, and these are available for everyone. Thank you for watching, and if you like my videos, I'd sure appreciate a thumbs up. If you already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much, and keep the questions coming. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Thanks everyone. Your photos are an incredible resource for colors, which is why it's a great idea to take lots of them. Here's why. The human eye sees contrast before it sees color. We often take photos without realizing we have all the contrast we need for an interesting palette. I personally like to pick a range of 3 to 5 colors, which include a light, medium, and dark value. Take a photo of 3 colors and desaturate them in your photo editor on your phone to see the value differences. Take Mother Nature's cue. She uses infinite shades of green, and we see their subtle and not so subtle variations even though we're talking about a single color, green. Same as with your photos, let clothing trends or blasts from the past inspire your next painting. Current trends will help your art feel more modern. Taking screenshots of your favorite outfits and taking these to the art supply store will make color picking fun and easy. Collect images from Pinterest, Pexels, Unsplash, or any other online photo repository. This is a fun and powerful activity because color can really get you into a feeling state. What are your favorite things? Decor, landscapes, travel, clothes, art? Allow the things that you love to tell you your own personal color story. Let one color guide all your choices. You may be surprised at what it tells you. Want to create a cohesive group of illustrations with a popular color palette? Here are several websites that specialize in color palettes. They can jumpstart a painting or an illustration. Some are based on trends, the psychology of color and its influence on mood, or even palettes as specific as food, the season, or palettes with a vintage feel. As promised, I'm sharing my favorite way of selecting paint color, and then I'll get to painting. This is the way I choose almost all my colors, by intuition. It's not complicated. For me, it feels like I'm tapping into my unconscious. I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's go. So this is one of my very favorite things to do, going to buy paint and fabric. I can hardly wait. Take a moment to get present and take a big breath in front of the paints. Pick one color that speaks to you first. Based on that, select one that is darker, that also speaks to your heart, and one that is lighter. Now take your paint colors to the fabric store. The first fabric I loved was the one on the far left. Then I chose a lighter value in the middle, and then a medium value that is between my lighter and my darker color. Fabric stores can be a little overwhelming, so it's a good idea to go into it thinking you're only going to have to make one fabric selection. Pick the one that jumps out at you first, and then from there, make your other choices. I spent about $13 on my fabric. I also bought a neutral for another project. You can go to the cutting table at the fabric store and ask to have 1/4 of a yard or 1/8 of a yard cut of the fabrics, depending on what your budget is. I like small pieces because I like to buy a lot of fabric, and you can see here that a little fabric goes a very long way, and I have lots of fabric here for several paintings. I'm gathering my white and black acrylic gouache paint. I also have just plain acrylic paint in burnt umber. I often like to use it instead of black. However, in this painting, I won't be using it in the final art, but I do want to test it out with the new paints that I have here. I'm using a Posca acrylic paint pen to create some small sketches of abstract designs, and then I will select one that I will use my paint colors with and get to know them a little bit better by doing some blending. Now I'm going to do a little bit different shape because my canvas that I want to paint is a rectangle. So I'm now just doing a composite based on the thumbnails that I just created. A sketchbook is really a great way to get to know your paint colors, and you have infinite possibilities. Even with 3 paint colors, it's just incredible the variety and variation that one can get. And you can see here that the colors that are happening on the paper are very different than they are just out of the tube. And I would not know that at all unless I blended my colors. As you're painting, give yourself permission to paint over areas that don't feel right to you. Also, take lots of breaks. I find that sometimes when the negative voices start up in my head, it means that I'm tired and I just need to take a walk or take a break. Remind yourself often, especially with a sketchbook, that this is just practice and you're developing a sense of how the paints combine together, and that's all it is. For the main painting, I'm now working on a wood panel, and you can see here that I have a sketch of a figure, and I've also sketched in, and I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but some abstract designs that are flowing from her. So what I want to show you in this part of the video is just how I'm applying the fabric and sort of talk you through the process. I'm using Golden brand gel medium in matte. When I first lay down fabrics, I like to work with odd numbers, and since this is not a giant piece, I'm going to work with 3 fabrics of each of the ones that I purchased. And you just saw me take a picture using my iPad. I like to take pictures so that I can get a sense of my composition, and I feel I can do that better sometimes when I get some distance from the artwork, and a way to do that is by taking a photo. Sometimes I'll look at these photos right before I go to bed, and I feel like it's a way for my subconscious to work on the painting while I'm sleeping. Give it a try and let me know what you think. See what kinds of ideas and images you wake up with. I love to work in layers, and so one of the ideas is I'm going to have some fabric, on her, and then once this dries, I will reinstate the lines that I'm covering up with some charcoal. And I want some of that fabric to come through. And the other thing is I'm putting fabric throughout the composition so that the eye keeps moving. That's really important to me. I'll be finishing this painting in next week's video. I'll also be continuing the color conversation as I bring paint together with the fabric. I'll be talking a little bit more about the inspiration behind it. I hope that this video you've gained some creative confidence in picking your colors. And this leads me to want to circle back to the painting I opened the video with. When I don't have a plan for a painting, I look at the paints that I have and do the same thing that I've shared with you. I select 3 to 5 colors that make my heart sing. The only thing I knew for sure for this painting is that I wanted to keep the painting light and airy, so I intentionally did not use black except for very tiny details. That being said, I do have a lot of experience layering mixed media, so I've also learned by lots of failures. Failures are your friend. Here are 3 takeaways for you on that note. Let your layer dry before adding a new one. Glaze or add transparent acrylics very thinly. Use lots of water or glazing medium and build up slowly. If you're unsure about a color combination, keep a sketchbook next to your painting to work it out there. Here's a bonus tip. You can always paint over what you don't like. There's so much freedom in trusting your intuition with your creativity. I think the world definitely needs it, which is why intuitive painting has become so appealing to many people. It's an opportunity for listening to your inner guidance and your unique preferences. As someone who meditates every day, I find many similarities between painting and meditation, most especially the profound peace that arises as the mind quiets as paint moves around the canvas, and this soothes the soul. Of course, just like in meditation, unwanted thoughts do arise, and this is where observing them in a detached way serves you beyond your painting session. You may wonder, how is this related to the conversation on color? Well, actually, in several Eastern healing systems, color relates to our inner energy systems called chakras. And as we use color, we are directly affecting that energy in a positive way, supporting our immune system and healing areas that may need it. Back to this painting. As it continues, I blend the colors from the first layer much more to get even more variations. I can't emphasize enough how staying with the first paints you select make a painting cohesive. It feels like it all works together. It doesn't mean you can't introduce new paints, but I think you'll find the artwork itself asking you to weave it in so it feels like it belongs with the others. I offer this popular class on Skillshare.com, which dives deeper into a limited color palette. You'll learn an easy layering technique with mixed media that will also help you tap into your intuition even more. I'm so grateful for your attention, and I look forward to answering any questions that you might have about the artwork. I'm always happy to do that. Thank you, everyone. Happy creating.